Okay, now I'm going to demo the data quality code. So I was able to implement schema validation, null checks, row counts, and I was able to write a data quality function to perform all these null checks, row counts, schema checks, and all. And I was able to write few queries and to check whether there is any data quality issue, and these queries can be used in the reports. So whatever reports, like they can fire this query to find out if there is a data quality issue or not. So let me go to the demo. So I have created a table called as data quality log, and every time when we are running, like, we should ideally load the data and run this data quality job, so that we will be able to see what are the data quality issues. So there is a column like what kind of rule is applied, and details about like whether it's success or how the rule has run, and a success count and a failure count. So suppose the rule has failed on 10 records, so that count will be there in the failure count, and some sample records, like some 5 records will be present in this bad record table. As of now, from our API, we are getting all non-nullable data. So we will not be getting any nullable failures. But let me demo and show you how it works. So I have created a new schema called as monitoring. You can see here, monitoring schema, and inside monitoring there is a data quality log table with these columns that I have just created now. Okay, so this is from the previous run. If I since I have replaced the table, if I query now, it is like a fresh run, so the table will be empty. Okay, now this is just a connector to the our storage bucket, uh, and then this is the expected schema. So what I'm doing is I'm importing struct data types, struct fields and all, and I am defining like what kind of data type is expected from our trades API. There are these columns are there, like trade ID, trade time and all, and I'm mentioning what kind of data type is expected, like long, timestamp, date type. So the whatever the data types mentioned here should be matching with the incoming data, and I have given the precision also. And the expectation here is like it should always match with this data type. Okay, and this is log schema. This is when I am trying to write the information into um, the table, like this monitoring this monitoring data quality log table. When I'm going to write it, I will have all these columns that are the table columns, this validation time, job name, all these columns. So I'm just having a struct type so that I could formalize this in a struct field and insert it directly, because I have been using arrays and lists to parse the data, so, and to check the data type and all. So the final is a kind of struct type, and I will use this struct type to insert in to create a data frame, and from data frame I will be inserting the data into this table. So the first step is I'm reading the lake house path for today's date, 21 September, and I'm putting in the df, incremental df. You can see here the count would be 1098. So it has read from the today's date, and 1098 records have been loaded. Here I have done some kind of data quality checks. So this is the function validate and log. Okay, and what I'm doing is all the validation logs I'm putting in this kind of a um, list array. So first what I'm doing is, like, when I'm passing this function with the actual data frame which has this record, this incremental records. So I'm getting the count, okay, in a variable, and I am also getting the current trade date, like from this data frame I'm getting the trade date, and uh, I'm getting the maximum value of it from the data frame, and I am stripping it and making in a date format and storing in this variable. um, this is just to parse date by date, like I'm parsing for today's date, that's why I have put it in this variable. So for the count check, what happens is uh, these are default values, like when the rule ran, okay, that time, what is the job name, so all the job name will be same. uh, this one, BTC USD pipeline, because I've hard coded it. And trade date value is the one that is this one, the maximum trade date, like 21 September, should be automatically fetched from the provided data frame. And what rule I am running, the rule is row count. So if the row count is greater than 0, then it means like there is some record that has been come. So we could say like this rule is a success. So if the row count is greater than 0, then I am putting like these many records have been inserted. And like if it is row count is not greater than 0, then there is a 0, like 0 records have been inserted. So this is just a basic rule to check whether there is some row or there is no rows from the given data frame that is generated for today's date. Okay. And for null checks and schema check, what I am doing, I iterating the whole data frame. And for I'm iterating each field by field. Okay. And for each field I am checking whether like there are say trade ID, trade time, and all, right. So there are these many fields: trade ID, trade time, price, size. So it will iterate for each field and check whether there is a null in this field. Like it will parse the whole column for trade ID and check whether there is a null. Whether it will parse the whole trade time and check it is a null. Whether check price and then check whether it's null. And store it, like null check for trade ID, null check for trade time, null check for price. How many records are null and how many records are non-null. So that's what is written here. And if there is some bad record, like there are some nulls, what it will do, you can see here I am creating a bad JSON variable which will have all the null values, and it will select some sample 5 records and put it in this JSON, and this JSON will be inserted into this bad record column. Okay. uh, so this so similar thing for schema check, it will go and check with the expected schema. So this is the expected schema, long timestamp, date type, and all. And this schema will be iterating for each of the column. And if there is some issue with the schema for any of one of the column, those will be recorded and pushed into um, bad payload. So let me run this. So this is the sample um, output of our table, like it is coming from the data frame. So you can see all the job names are BTC USD pipeline, and at what time this validation has happened, and this is for which date of like which partition date, and the rule, like whether it's a row count. So you can see like there is 1098 rows, so all success rows are 1098, and I'm considering like I hard coded like there is zero failure. If there is zero success rows, then there will be some failure count. Okay. And then for null check, it says like there are zero nulls for trade ID, zero nulls for trade time, and all. And for schema check and all also, it is saying like there is uh, um, like all the schema is matching for trade ID, schema is matching for trade time, with this timestamp detail. But for trade time and trade date, it is not like you can see here, it is not matching because the trade date here is of string data type. Okay, why it is failing is because when I am trying to read from uh, from data frame and parsing the schema check via um, this list of arrays, I purposefully introduced it so that you could see like what the failure condition is. So I'm not hard coded this trade date with you can see date, like a structure for date, like date type. You see here date type, but when I'm checking here for the schema, I'm not checking here with the date type, it is checking with the string type. So that is why it is failing here 1098. If it is checking with date type, it will match. Okay, so the field data type and actual type is mismatching here. The actual type is date type and the actual field type is string data type that is coming from the data frame. So that is why this date type is not matching, and that is why we are seeing here issue. Same for here for ingest timestamp also. When we are converting into data frame, it is using string data type instead of date data type, and that's why it's not matching. So so the whole data is now inserted into the monitoring logs table. I can go and just query the count here, count query. Now you can see how many, like around 15 checks, data quality checks have been inserted here. Okay, and these are some sample insights. Like based on these queries, we can generate reports. So like how many failures are there, like sum of failure count. So I'm grouping by the date and the role name, and failure counts are there. So you can see for most of them it is saying 0, and for these two it is saying the whole record. It's actually not a failure because it's checking with the wrong schema type. Uh, so if we want to dig down, like what is the issue and how many bad records are there, uh, like so this is the percentage calculation, like um, uh, so if so many records are passed, so what is the pass percentage? So it is saying like 0% of this schema check trade date and schema check in just stamp is passed, like 0% has been passed. So if I go and check what are the bad records here for these two uh, failure scenarios, you can see there are null bad records because actually there is no failure. Like the schema is matching, but just because the data frame cannot accommodate the string as date field, it is getting failed. So that's what I have written here for rules like date and timestamp. The check is comparing expected and actual, but they are not matching. That's why it's making us failed. But this is not a row level failure. This is like a schema level failure. Uh, there is no bad record actually. It's just that how the data frame versus actual schema is not working. It's marked as bad. So that's why the bad record is null. So with this data in the report, one can say like, okay, this is just a false, like uh, uh, false scenario, true false, or false true scenario, and the actually as per the DQ, the whole data is coming as per the schema without nulls and having some kind of count. Thank you.